In this video, we are going to demonstrate how to take periapical radiographs using the bisecting angle technique. We will begin with the maxillary incisors. When using the bisecting angle technique for maxillary exposures, place the receptor as close as possible to the teeth. Once the receptor has been positioned, direct the central ray to the roots of the teeth, perpendicular to the imaginary bisector and long axis of the tooth. So the central ray must be directed perpendicular through the roots of the teeth. So the PID should be placed around the tip of the nose and at the midline, so anywhere from plus 40 to plus 50 degrees, facing downward. For the horizontal angulation, place the central ray through the contacts of the teeth in order to avoid overlaps and to achieve open contacts. Make sure the receptor is completely covered before exposing the receptor in order to avoid concuts. For maxillary canine exposures, place the receptor as close as possible to the teeth. Once the receptor has been positioned, direct the central ray to the roots of the teeth and perpendicular to the imaginary bisector and the long axis of the teeth. For this exposure, place the PID around the depression formed by the ala of the nose and around plus 45 to positive 55 degrees. The horizontal angulation is the same, so it must be placed at the central ray through the contacts of the teeth in order to avoid overlaps, making sure the receptor is completely covered by the tube head in order to avoid concuts. For the maxillary premolar exposure, once the receptor has been placed, direct the central ray through the roots of the teeth by having the PID pointed below the pupil of the eyes and the vertical angulation of positive 30 to positive 40 degrees. Place the central ray through the contacts of the teeth and cover the receptor with the tube head. For the maxillary molar exposure, place the receptor as close as possible to the teeth, and the PID should be pointing below the outer eyes and at positive 20 to positive 30 degrees. For the horizontal angulation, place the central ray to the contacts of the teeth in order to avoid overlaps, and always make sure the receptor is completely covered by the tube head. When using the bisecting angle technique for mandibular exposures, the PID and central ray need to be directed to places which are located directly below the maxillary points of entry and approximately ½ inch above an imaginary line which is parallel to the lower border of the mandible. When using the bisecting technique for mandibular incisor exposure, the PID should be between -15 to -25. Therefore, it will be facing upward towards the ceiling. For mandibular canines, the PID will be between -20 to -30. For mandibular premolars, it will be between -10 to -15, and for mandibular molars it will be between -5 to 0.